Hey everybody, we're going to talk about expository text structure today. So at the very top of a new page in your composition book, and I would actually suggest turning your page sideways so that it is more hot dog style as opposed to hamburger style, so something like that. At the very top, write expository text structure. So that is our topic of concern for today. So expository, as you know, because you've been reading about this for your bingo sheet, expository is anything that is nonfiction and it's about a particular topic. Literary is going to be what's about a specific person or a group of people. So expository is nonfiction about any other topic. So it could be about baseball, it could be about World War II, it could be about ghosts, it could be about students, just anything kind of in general. Text structure is something we haven't talked about yet though. But if you think about it, text is, whatever it is that we're currently reading, so the words on the page. And then the structure is all about how they are laid out. So text structure is really just a way that the words are organized. So it's also called an organizational pattern. So I'm just going to add that under here. So organizational pattern. And authors typically use a certain text structure in order to get their point across. So you really have to consider why an author is writing whatever it is that they've written, and you also need to think about why you would go ahead and read that particular piece of text. So what we're going to talk about today are the big 6 expository text structures. And so you've probably already seen these before, you just may not have realized that they were actually called a specific name. So we're going to go ahead and start with number 1. So what I would suggest for you is to divide your paper up into, we're going to need 6 rows. So yours a little bit better than mine. 6 rows, and then we're going to need, let's say, 4 columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So something kind of like this, okay? So the very first column we're going to talk about is the type of text structure. So just kind of up here put text structure. The next one is going to be kind of a description of what that text structure is. So we'll just put, what is it? Next one are going to be words to watch out for. So when you're trying to identify what text structure it is that you're reading, you're going to be looking for certain key words in there. So we'll just put key words. So these are kind of your hints that tell you what text structure it is that you're reading. The last one is going to be graphic organizers. So if we were to put our ideas together in just a graphic organizer, which one would best suit this particular text structure? Okay, so you pretty much have this broken up into 4 different parts. So what's the text structure? What exactly is it involving anyway? What are some of the keywords to look for? And then what kind of a graphic organizer would we use for this particular type of text? Okay, so I'm just going to make mine go 1 text structure per page so that I can write a little bit larger for you to see. But what you're going to do is just put these into each of these boxes that you have just drawn onto your page. Okay, so we're going to start with number 1. And I'm not really going in any particular order. This is just what works best for me. So number 1 text structure is going to be cause and effect. So with cause and effect, there's usually 2 parts. There's the thing that happens, and there's the thing that happened as the result. So what I would put in that second, excuse me, what I put in that second box there to kind of describe it is that this is what happens, or happened if it's past tense. We probably should keep it that way. So what happened, and then the result. Okay, so some of the words that you want to look out for when it comes to cause and effect text structure is going to be something like leads to, because of. The effects of. Therefore. Hey, there's one of our conjunctive adverbs. Semicolon, adverb, comma. Remember that? Good, you should. Since. If. Then. Lots of different words, but those are probably some of the most commonly used ones. So with cause and effect, you're basically looking at what happened and then the result of that. Okay? So in that fourth column for your graphic organizer, you could do this in several different ways. So basically, it could be that we have one cause. So we have that thing that happened. And then it could be that it actually caused two different effects to occur. There's nothing that says that you have to have one single cause and one effect. So this could be several different outcomes. It could be that you had a couple of things that occurred, and because these occurred, they may have led to one outcome. So it could be that we have cause number one, we have cause number two, and then we have one effect because of this. Okay, so for an example, it could be that, okay, so yesterday the weather got very cold and it snowed. So that's our cause. It got cold and it snowed. So effect number one is that there were lots of car accidents because of that. And also effect number two is that school was delayed this morning because of that particular weather issue. Okay, so that's cause and effect. One thing happened, this is what happened as a result. It could be that we have two different causes. So could be that this morning I woke up late and this morning my car wouldn't start, and so the effect because of both of those is that I was then late to school, not only because I got up late but also because my car wouldn't start. Okay, but they led to the same effect. All right, so that's cause and effect text structure. So that's my number one. All right, let's look at number two. So the next one that I'd like to talk to you about is problem and solution. Typically in expository nonfiction, they talk about one problem and then multiple solutions that could be used to solve the problem. And so really how this one just works is basically that the author presents a problem, usually just the one. It could be more, but typically one. So presents a problem. And then what happens is that suggestions are made for solving it. Okay, so a problem is presented. So it could be that students are always late to school. Here are some different ways that we could fix this. One, we could offer up incentives for students who get to school early. Number two, it could be that we begin calling parents to let them know that their kids keep running late. Three, it could be that we start school even earlier. I'm not really sure how that would fix anything, but you see where I'm going with this. So, problem solution, we have a problem, here are some ways to fix it. Okay, so some of the words that you might want to look out for with problem and solution are, the words problem and solution. You're probably going to see those, or at least in synonyms for them. You're probably going to see words maybe like so, or the answer. Could be something like dilemma, ways to fix, solved. See if you can think of some more too. So, problem, solution. All right, so as far as a graphic organizer goes, this one's really pretty simple too. So usually we just have, a problem. And then what we can do is maybe this to solve it, or we could try this as far as a solution, or maybe we could even go so far as to try this. So usually you're looking for one main issue, one thing being a problem, and then several different ways. And remember our magic rule of 3. I mean, that's usually what authors tend to go with. We remember it better, we learn it easier. It just works really well to have 3 different things. Okay, so the first one we talked about is cause and effect, and this one is problem and solution. All right, number 3, let's talk about compare and contrast. This is one that you're probably the most familiar with because they start you on a Venn diagram when you're barely out of diapers back in pre-K. So compare and contrast. This is also one of the first things that we learn to do as kids, is just to look to see how are things alike, how are they different. We seek out patterns. And so with compare and contrast, you're looking for similarities, how are they alike, and you're also looking for differences. So how are they not alike? So similarities and differences, okay? As far as some words go, some keywords that you might want to be looking for is like, both, but, however, most, usually, whereas, okay, and there's some more, but again, those are the most common ones, okay? So, how are they alike? How are they different? Well, they both are fruit, but they are different colored fruits. Let's talk about a graphic organizer, and again, our steadfast friend, the Venn diagram. You know that this is how they're different, this is how this one's different, and then this part in the middle is how they are alike. So you can do it that way. Basically, it's kind of like a scale. So you basically just have this person here who's kind of holding up the scale. So this is the pear, and this is the orange. So again, it's all about what can we decide is the same, what can we decide is different about them. All right, so that's compare, contrast. Number 4. What about sequence of events? You friends with a timeline? You like things in a nice, neat order? You're going to like this one. Sequence of events. Okay, so this one is all about organizing the events in the way that they actually happen. So events in the order they happened, or the order that they occurred. Okay, so that's sequence of events. Some people also call this chronological order. It's exactly the same thing. And so with this, you're looking for those transitions such as first, next, last, finally, then. Now really look for those, because sequence of events is going to absolutely use some of these transitions in them, okay? And remember, transitions usually then, comma, finally, comma, first, comma. And so they're just connecting the ideas together in order. So this is just, it's your typical timeline. So if you can take the stuff that it's being talked about in that particular article and then put it out on a timeline like this, it's probably going to be sequence of events. If we could take it and put it into some kind of a process, such as step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, and then step 6. So basically, you can make a list out of it or a timeline very, very easily. So that's sequence of events. Okay, number 5. Number 5 is going to be one called description. Okay, description's a lot like some of the others, but it stands out in several ways. First off is that it's about one particular topic, and it's all the characteristics, the features, the examples of that particular topic. So So it could be that it's a book over dogs, just about dogs, and inside that it tells you different breeds of dogs. It gives you examples of dogs for people who want indoor pets, dogs for people who want guard dogs, what dogs eat, what kind of a habitat they need, the history of dogs. But it all goes back to that one topic, which is dogs. Okay, so we're going to put that it's about one topic. And all of its characteristics. About to run out of room. Characteristics. Features. And examples. Okay, so for some keywords that you can look for this one is, for example, some features, in fact, such as, for instance. So it'll probably give you a lot of different examples here. Alright, so this one could be that it is about that one particular topic. So here we have topic, and then it branches off like this in different directions. So it could be about breeds, habitat, diet. And then we could even keep branching off this way too. So breeds could be indoor, outdoor. But the point of this one is that it all leads back to that one particular topic, which would be in this case dogs. Okay, so that is description. Our last one, this one is the easiest one to remember, and this one is question and answer. Okay, so question and answer is very, very simple. Basically, it's we have a question asked. And then we have a response for it, the answer to it. You'll see this on a lot of different websites. So, for example, you're planning a trip to Disney World, and there's a lot of stuff that people tend to ask. And so instead of just having people continue to call them or email them about those questions, they've taken all the most commonly used questions and put them in a document on their webpage. So you can find Q&A, open that up, and you're going to have all the questions that people usually ask and all of their responses to those. So with this one, there's really not a whole lot that I need to even write down here. It is so simple that it really is usually just a question, kind of like this, and it's usually in bold, and then you're going to have your answer right underneath it. So usually the question is bolded, and then you have your answer below. Okay, so this one is so simple. There's no reason for you not to recognize that. Okay, so in class, what you have now to kind of review are your notes that you've just taken from this video, and you are also going to receive a handy dandy little document that you can glue into your composition book that looks it looks exactly like this. It's just a little bit smaller. So the notes that you've just taken are very much like this, only this just gives you an extra resource to pull from. So expository text structures, look over them, know them, understand them, because next we are going to look at specific examples and have you identify what they are and what the author's purpose was in writing those. And as a reader, why would you read this particular text structure? All right, that's it, folks. See you later.